My name's Connor, and this is my first ever YouTube video on my personal channel. I have posted hundreds and hundreds of pieces of content for DevSlopes, but here I'll be actually lifting the veil on everything in my life. For the past 2 years, I have had the privilege of being a part of the team in building what we call BizOps. And those 2 years have been the most impactful years of my life because now I actually get the opportunity to work with students and see them make meaningful career transitions into tech. So I thought long and hard about what I wanted this video to actually be, what I want this channel to be. And outside of my personal life, jiu-jitsu, fitness, fantasy books, can't think of a better way to start this channel than to break down exactly what it is that we've been building for the past 2 years. What is BizOps? But to first understand what BizOps is, you have to first understand the problem that we've been trying to solve. So let's get right into it. What is BizOps? What is this mission that we are trying to solve? The best way to understand this is by understanding Steve, right? This is Steve. And let's actually look inside of Steve's life. Steve has a family. And I promise my handwriting and drawing is going to get way better as we make more of these. He works full time. He has 2 kids. He works from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And he has a 45-minute commute home. And the cool thing is, Steve wants to work in tech. And he wants to work in tech for the same reasons that anyone wants to work in tech, right? He wants to work from home. He wants to be able to have a better work-life balance, spend some more time with his family, spend some more time with the kids, and just spend more time doing the things that actually matter to him. He wants a regular schedule. Maybe he's tired of the commute. Maybe he's tired of working 8 to 6. Maybe he just wants to be able to work from home and just have more flexibility over his time. He wants to make the income he deserves, right? Steve's not asking to become a multi-bajillionaire, right? He just wants to make a better salary. He's not asking to become a millionaire. He's just asking to make better income. That way he can have better financial control over his life. But there's some core problems that Steve is running into. And these are the problems that everyone runs into when it comes to working in tech. And let's actually break down exactly what these problems are. Problem number 1, working in tech means debt. And to put this into perspective, the average university debt for tech-related degrees sits around $60,000 to $80,000. It's a lot of money. Those monthly loan payments sit around $388 per month. Number 2, working in tech means time. And this is time that Steve doesn't have, right? Steve has bills to pay. He has a full-time job. He has a family, and he has mouths to feed, right? He can't just uproot his entire life and say, sorry, little Timmy, I'm going to go learn this skill, and I'm going to go get a degree to work in tech. It doesn't work that way. So he's having to dedicate time that he doesn't have. And number 3, working in tech means dense skills. He sees online that in order to actually work in tech, he's going to have to learn something like software engineering. He has to become the next Elon Musk and be this math wizard. And that's not for everyone. The big question is, what happens next? What happens next? Because these are the problems that Steve are running into. Well, the answer is nothing. Nothing changes. Nothing happens. And honestly, you can't blame Steve for this, right? Because rightfully so, the system has failed him. No one can blame Steve for not going back to college and uprooting his life for 4 to 6 years. No one can blame Steve for not wanting to invest $60,000 to $80,000 to go and get a degree or to attend a coding boot camp for $10,000 to $30,000 because he has a family to take care of. He has a full-time job. He has bills to pay. No one can blame him for nothing ever changing because the system has failed him. And maybe Steve has dabbled into some self-teaching, right? He's looked up things online. He's tried to self-teach himself some coding skills. But when there's thousands and thousands and thousands of different options, paths, courses, and gurus out there, it honestly makes sense and still makes sense why nothing has changed. And this is the fundamental problem that so many people face when it comes to making a career transition into the tech industry. And it's the fundamental problem that we have made our mission to solve. And this is actually the core of what BizOps actually is. BizOps is the bridge between these gaps. It's a way to break into tech without wasting time and money. So what is BizOps? BizOps is actually something that has been around for a really, really long time. And believe it or not, you use it, I would say probably every single day without even realizing it. For example, when you go to a restaurant, right? You go to a restaurant and you go and you're looking at the menu And on the menu, you're trying to pick out what you want, but you see in the bottom left-hand corner, there's a little QR code. And that QR code says scan for a free appetizer on your next visit. So what do? You're thinking, oh, I want a free appetizer. So you scan that QR code and it takes you to a page here. And that page is going to ask for your first name, your email, your phone number, and there's a big submit button there for you to input your information. So you input your information, you hit submit, and then what happens? Well, you get an automatic text or email that gives you your free appetizer for your next visit. That entire system is BizOps. When you go to the dentist, right, and 15 minutes before your appointment, you get an automated text that reminds you of what time your appointment is, and then you get to the actual dentist office, and you look at the person, and the person's like, okay, let me just put you in the system, and they put you into this little database where you can have all your past appointments, you have all your contact information all stored in one place. That system is BizOps. BizOps is the behind-the-scenes engine that allow businesses to run. And while everyone is stuck in this endless debate of which path to take, whether or not you should go to a 4-year degree, whether or not you should attend a coding boot camp, whether or not you should go to a community college, trade school, test your luck with online certifications. While everyone is stuck in this endless debate onto what path you should actually go down, there's an entire economy running off of no-code tools that integrate with AI in order to solve these business problems. And businesses are paying anywhere from $50,000 to $75,000 per year for people who can set up these systems. And so I'll actually pull some data that we've actually gathered for the past 2 years to just show you how much of a demand there is for this type of work. We call it the no-code revolution. And the no-code job market is expected to grow 32.2% year over year from $37 billion today to $264 billion by 2035. And right now the demand for these skills are so high. There is an 84.2 million global shortage of people who can actually build out these systems. So let me actually give you an example of what one of these systems might actually look like. This is an example that I give all of my students inside of the BizOps Academy. It's called the Google Sheets and Sticky Notes Dilemma. And the Google Sheets and Sticky Notes Dilemma looks something like this. Most businesses are lacking tech infrastructure. They're running off of gross and nasty spreadsheets. They're running off of ledgers, and they're running off of sticky notes. And I mean that legitimately. So I'll tell you a story, right? I went down to a storage unit place because I needed to get a storage unit because I was in between moving and I just needed a place to store all of my stuff. And when I went to the front office, I had a few questions for the guy. I asked my questions and I let him know, hey, I have a few other places that I'm going to check out, so I'm going to go check out those places as well before I make a decision. And he didn't let me leave until he got my full name, my email, and my phone number. And I've been doing this for so long, so I'm able to kind of see what's going on and where BizOps plays a role in businesses. So I immediately was picking up what he was trying to do. What he was doing was smart, and he was trying to gather my information so he could turn me into a potential customer. He has me as a lead. He's collecting my information so he can follow up with me and hopefully turn me into a sale. But the problem was this. When I gave him my information, I expected him to turn to his computer, put all the information in. But instead, he turned to this huge ledger. And then I was like, oh, that's not good. In my mind, I told myself there is no way that this guy is going to reach out to me ever again after today. And sure enough, he didn't. And I don't blame him, because running off of systems like spreadsheets, ledgers, and sticky notes is not effective. But for the business, I'm now a lost opportunity. I'm now a lost lead. And to be completely honest, this guy probably had a busy day. He probably didn't have time to send out 40 different texts and emails to all of the leads that he's gathered over the last few weeks. But still, those are 40 missed opportunities for the business. So what this business needs more than anything is tech infrastructure. And as a BizOps engineer, you're able to step into these businesses and set up systems that function like second brains for the business. So instead of putting my information into a gross, nasty ledger, he could put my information into what we call a second brain. And here he can track every text, every email, have all of my information all in one place. He'll have every point of contact, every text message that's been sent out, every email. He'll be able to do it all from one place. And the best part is he won't even have to do it because we can set up the system and the brain to be automated, where I automatically get texts, I automatically get emails, saving him time to focus on whatever it is that he needs to focus on as a business owner, and still giving the business a chance to make more money with those 40 missed opportunities that we talked about earlier. And these are the systems that a BizOps engineer is able to set up. And here's the beautiful part. In order to set up these systems, you actually don't need any coding experience. All of these tools are no-code tools. These are pre-built solutions designed to solve these business problems. So let's go back to Steve and the problems that he's facing. Problem number one is working in tech means debt. BizOps isn't something that you need a college degree for. You just have to learn the problems that businesses are facing and how to solve them. Meaning you don't have to take out a $60,000 to $80,000 in student loans in order to learn these skills. Number two, working in tech means time. Every single student that I teach, they have full-time jobs. They have families, they have bills to pay. They dedicate 1 to 2 hours a day learning, and they learn it from home. They're not having to sit in a lecture hall for 8 hours throughout the week. They get to learn all of these tools and all of these skills from home. And number three, working in tech means learning dense skills. Look, I wasn't a sharp kid in school. I didn't go to college. The beautiful thing about BizOps is you're not learning dense skills like software engineering. You're working with no-code solutions. Like I said before, these are pre-built solutions that are tailored to solving these business problems. And this is what is allowing Steve to go from where he is now to where he wants to be. And this is the exact path that every single student I teach is going on in order to make a career transition into tech. And some of them have already made that transition. They're already landing paid work. Some of them have already landed full-time and part-time work. And so many of them are starting their journey and making the career transition into the tech world. And that's exactly what this channel is going to be centered around. Understanding this fundamental problem, learning the no-code tools that is needed in order to actually solve these problems and make a meaningful career transition into tech. Outside of jiu-jitsu, fitness, and just everything in my personal life, this is something that I'm most excited to share with everyone. And I can't wait to dive into more of these videos. We're going to be doing breakdown tutorials of the actual tools that are needed to solve these problems, dedicated walkthroughs, live sessions, full build-outs. I cannot wait to share this with everyone. And I really couldn't think of a better way to start this channel than to dive right into what the problem is that we're trying to solve. So again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I can't wait to share more.